Thousands of Americans are about to make a very expensive mistake about moving to Portugal in 2026, and most of them don't even know it. They're researching the wrong visa, or worse, they're planning around a visa that no longer works the way they think it does. This week, Portugal changed the rules on citizenship. Something no other Retire Abroad channel has caught yet, because we verified it directly from the official Portuguese government gazette. If you are planning to retire to Portugal, watch this before you make a decision that could cost you years and tens of thousands of dollars. Most people think the question is Golden Visa or D7, but the real question is, which one actually applies to you? Because for most Americans watching this, one of these visas is clearly yours, and by the end of this episode, you will know exactly which one it is. Let us start with the biggest mistake Americans make about the Golden Visa. And if you have been researching Portugal online, there is a good chance you have already made it. For over a decade, the Golden Visa meant one thing to most people. Buy a property in Lisbon, get a residence permit, and start your clock toward a Portuguese passport. Simple, attractive, and for 10 years, it worked exactly like that. Then in October 2023, Portugal ended the property investment route. Completely. Not reduced, not modified. Ended. Every article still recommending the Golden Visa for buying an apartment or a villa in Portugal is describing a route that no longer exists. This is the number one thing the internet still gets wrong about the Golden Visa in 2026. Quick question before we go further. If Portugal is on your retirement list, drop a comment below. Type D7 or Golden Visa. Tell me which one you are leaning toward. I read every comment and it helps me understand what you are researching. So what does the Golden Visa actually look like today? The property route is gone. What remains is investment-based. The most common route for Americans is an investment fund. Minimum 500,000 euros into a qualifying Portuguese fund. There are also routes for arts and heritage contributions at 250,000 euros and job creation. Here's what the Golden Visa gives you. A residence permit requiring just 14 days in Portugal every 2 years. Not per year, every 2 years. You can hold Portuguese residency rights and travel freely across the Schengen area while continuing to live primarily in the United States. That is the Golden Visa today, investment-based, minimal stay, and the property route is gone. Now the D7. And if you are a retired American living on Social Security and pension income, pay close attention, because this visa was built for you. The D7 is formally called the Passive Income Visa. It was designed for people who do not need to work in Portugal to support themselves. Retirees on Social Security, people with pension income, individuals with dividends or rental income from outside Portugal. To qualify in 2026, you need 920 euros per month in stable passive income for a single applicant. That is the 2026 threshold tied to the Portuguese minimum wage and updated every January. Articles still citing 760 or 800 euros are out of date. The average U.S. Social Security payment for a retired worker is approximately $1,900 a month. That alone exceeds the D7 income threshold for a single applicant. If you have Social Security plus any pension or investment income, you almost certainly meet the financial requirement. You also need 11,040 euros in savings held in a Portuguese bank account, accommodation arranged in Portugal before you apply, and private health insurance for the initial visa stage. Here's the part most articles skip. The D7 requires you to actually live in Portugal. During your first 2-year permit, you must spend at least 16 months in the country. You cannot be absent for more than 6 consecutive months. This is not a residency on paper arrangement. The D7 is for people who are genuinely moving to Portugal. Here's the comparison side by side. 6 factors. Your answers determine your visa. Factor 1. Qualifying criteria. The D7 requires 920 euros per month in passive income. The Golden Visa requires 500,000 euros in an investment fund. These are not similar thresholds. They are completely different financial profiles. Factor 2. Stay requirement. The D7 requires you to live in Portugal. 16 months in the first 2 years. The Golden Visa requires only 14 days every 2 years. If you want to keep living in the United States with the option to visit Portugal, the Golden Visa is the only option. If you want to actually move to Portugal and build your life there, the D7 is designed for that. Factor 3. Real estate. The D7 requires you to have accommodation, rental or owned. The Golden Visa no longer allows real estate as a qualifying investment. The property route is gone. Factor 4. Target applicant. The D7 was built for retirees on passive income. The Golden Visa was built for investors with significant capital. These are different people with different goals. Factor 5. Processing time. The D7 typically processes in 6 to 9 months. The Golden Visa is facing an AIMA backlog. Processing times of 12 to 36 months are currently being reported. Factor 6. Citizenship timeline. Both visas now lead to the same citizenship timeline, and this is where the breaking news comes in. Before today, if you search the Golden Visa citizenship timeline, you would find articles saying 5 years. That was the rule. Legal residency for 5 years, then apply for a Portuguese passport. That rule changed this week. Portugal published a new nationality law. We verified it directly from the official Portuguese government gazette. The link is in the description. Go check it yourself. Here's what changed. Citizenship used to take 5 years of legal residency for most applicants. For new applicants who are not EU citizens or from Portuguese-speaking countries, which includes Americans, it now takes 10 years. 10 years. The 5-year path to a Portuguese passport is no longer available for new applicants. There is one important protection in the new law. If you already have an application in progress, if you submitted before May 19, 2026, the old 5-year rule may still apply to you. Consult an immigration specialist before drawing any conclusions about your specific situation. There is a second change that matters for Golden Visa holders specifically. Previously, the citizenship clock could start from the date you applied for your permit. Now it starts from the date your permit is physically issued. Given that Portugal's immigration authority is currently taking 12 to 18 months to process applications, the practical timeline to citizenship is now longer than 10 years for many new applicants. This changes the Golden Visa value proposition significantly. Anyone who is considering the Golden Visa specifically for the fast path to a Portuguese passport needs to recalculate. The math has changed. Most channels are still telling you Portugal citizenship takes 5 years. That changed. We verified the actual law. If you like research backed by actual government documents instead of relocation marketing, subscribe. That is exactly what this channel is built around. Here is our recommendation, not legal advice, a factual assessment based on verified primary source data. For most Americans retiring to Portugal on Social Security and pension income, the D7 is the visa that applies to you. Let me show you what I mean with 2 real situations. Think about Mike and Susan from Colorado, retired, living on Social Security and a modest pension, about $55,000 a year combined. They want to move to Portugal full-time, access the healthcare system, build a life there. The D7 is almost certainly their path. Their income exceeds the threshold. They plan to live there. The visa was designed for exactly their situation. Now think about Robert from Chicago. High net worth, wants EU residency and Schengen travel freedom, but has no intention of leaving the United States full-time. He has capital to invest. The Golden Visa makes sense for Robert, even with the 10-year citizenship timeline, because residency is what he wants, not a passport right now. The Golden Visa requires 500,000 euros in a qualifying investment fund. Most Americans retiring on Social Security and a modest pension do not have that capital, and even those who do may not want it tied up in a Portuguese investment fund for a decade. The D7 requires 920 euros a month in passive income. Average Social Security alone meets that threshold. For most of you watching this, the D7 is your visa. 3 things to do before you apply for either visa. First, verify the citizenship timeline directly from the source. Portugal's new nationality law is published in the official government gazette, the Diário da República. We have linked the document in the description. Read it yourself. The implications for your timeline are significant. Second, check the current D7 income threshold at the official Portuguese consulate website, not a blog. The 2026 figure is 920 euros per month. That number changes every January. Third, work with a qualified Portuguese immigration attorney before you submit anything. The documents are in Portuguese. The process requires precision. One error can delay your application by months. All primary sources are in the description. The AIMA portal, the official consulate documentation, and the new nationality law, straight from the Portuguese government gazette. If this episode helped you figure out which visa is yours, subscribe. Every episode on this channel is sourced directly from official government documents. No guesswork on decisions this big. And one more question before you go. Portugal just doubled the citizenship timeline from 5 to 10 years. Does that change whether you would still move there? Let me know in the comments. I am genuinely curious what you think. Next episode, we stay in Portugal. How safe is it really? We go directly to the official Portuguese crime statistics and the State Department travel advisory. Numbers only. No opinion. Subscribe so you do not miss it. This is Next Chapter Abroad. Your retirement, your world. We will see you next time.